Hey Jonathan, I don't know if it's good afternoon, good morning, or good evening.
Hi,
Doesn't
Eddie.
matter.
Back another week.
Um, another one. Yes, I
Thankfully,
think
being able to do this,
I,
bro.
absolutely. I just love doing this, man. Like I think we learn from each other. I think talking also sort of helps you to clear your mind and be more productive.
For sure.
I mean, we've been talking about a bunch of stuff. I think I know. So at one call we spoke about B2B, just general stuff, and then we sort of moved into talking about campaigns. And I think still we are stuck at that level of talking about campaigns. And without talking about everything about the campaigns, I thought we'll talk about the first step of setting up an effective campaign, right? So I thought today we'll talk about identifying your ICPs,
Yeah.
buying companies, and that whole the first part of that,
Yeah.
the most difficult part, I would rather say. Um,
I think
and to
ICP,
start,
like, a very, not many people talk about ICPs. It's like this thing that not many people are very, interested in kind of spending too much time on. I guess
yeah,
takes a backseat always.
absolutely, we should talk more about ICPs because they literally define what your how your campaign is going to be set up. And I thought we'll talk a bit about ICPs and what's the difference between ICP and buyer personas. And in many cases, we often confuse with these two terms.
Terms, yeah.
So,
Let's get it.
um,
I mean, what's in your mind? Like, what do you think the first time that you probably heard about ICPs and when you, I mean, we've used this term for a while. What do you feel as a, like, what do you think about it as a, I don't want to call it definition, but what comes to your mind?
or for me, it just points out what type of customers that we should have in our portfolio,
Yeah.
right? Um, I think we don't pay much attention to it. And ideal customer profile is more about the account itself,
Yeah.
about how much revenue that they're making, what's their size, where are they located, what type of the industry that they are catering to so on and so forth, right? And I personally believe that defining your ICP is more important because it kind of helps you to craft your messaging in a right way. It'll help you to choose the right channels. It'll also help you to choose the assets that you want to go out and show
Exactly.
off, right?
Yeah. Basically, it sets a platform for your rest of the campaign, right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I want to ask you how how would you differentiate a buyer persona from an ICP?
Common, uh, common misconception, like where you think it's the same thing, but it's actually two different things. And but they are, however, like closely linked in some way. So how I would kind of think about it is like where you remember that each account still has individuals or diverse roles, these what we call buying committee roles, right? That you have. And that's where your like buying personas come into play. So you have your buying personas that are playing these diverse roles within your ICP. Your ICP is basically your account of key characteristics that you're looking from your customer in total. So, for example, you may decide to target like specific stakeholders within an account, and those account characteristics would basically become your ideal customer profile, which we call ICP. So that's how you think of it.
Kind of like a drop down menu, whereas you choose your ICP, and then you go and pick and choose what are the personas that you want to go after. I mean, that kind of it it's really really important because now the buying committees are becoming broader and broader, right? But before we get there, I want to sort of discuss about how do you actually identify and define your ICPs. It's not an easy thing, right? I mean, because that's why we often reiterate, don't do too many things. Always have, like, maximum 4 big campaigns for the entire year and see what best you can do with it. Because churning out a campaign is not that easy. You need to put in a lot of effort, and it's not an easy thing, right? So I want to discuss a bit about how to sort of identify these ICPs, Jonathan. Like,
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
you're defining your campaign, how do you start that process of identifying ICPs?
Yeah, perfect. I think I'd always like to think about ICPs as like when you're recruiting an employee, right? You have a job profile, a job description of who exactly, what characteristics this person, this profile you want fit your company, right? And the role that you want them to play. So it's the similar to your ICP. Your ICP would have different characteristics that you want within your customer that would really fit the kind of solution you're going to offer them, right? And it's like a match that you're making, right, between two parties. And it's the same like when you're employing or when you're recruiting a new uh, employee to your company. So basically you see fit as to how that employee fits your kind of profile, the customer that you want to actually serve here in this case is the customer that you're trying to look as the best fit to serve. So it could be two ways. One is you could look at your existing portfolio. If you have an extensive portfolio of customers, you could look at some of the characteristics that drive them to why do they actually, buy your products and services? Why do they sign up for your and subscribe for your services? So that could be a great way to start. We could look at various characteristics, and I'll come back to what kind of characteristics could fit in. Another way to look at it is also really asking how your product vision and your vision for your company is going to impact like future uh, profiles that you want to be attracting. So probably your current customer portfolios might not uh, be the right fit. So you want to like improve that and improve your
Yeah.
customer. So for instance, you might have customers who are coming into your subscribing, but by in like 1 year, 2 years, you see them churning out. So
Mm.
they don't probably really fit in a way that there is something that's missing between your in the match, basically.